Hi guys, how you going? I hope you're well. Today I'm doing a video on choosing the best lens for fashion photography. It's really hard to determine what lenses are best for fashion photography, so when I put that in the title, that's kind of misleading because, to be honest, in my personal opinion, there are no best lenses for fashion photography. I think you can take a fantastic fashion portrait with, a 35mm or, a 300mm lens, so it really just depends on your style of photography and what you like to shoot with. I can recommend some lenses though that I think help with fashion photography and what, a lot of clients may even expect you to have in your kit. So, and when I say choosing a lens that's best to suit your style of photography as well, for example, I like to shoot at really wide apertures, so I choose lenses that generally have, a maximum of a wide aperture. So like say f1.2 is my 85mm, f2.8 is my 24-70. Whereas some other fashion photographers might choose, the 24-70 f4 because they prefer to shoot at smaller apertures or don't want as much background blur in their photos, and that's just their style of photography and that's completely fine. So I'm really just going to give some tips on what I think is good to have in a lens for fashion photography, but as I said, it's totally up to you and your style of photography. I think it's always good to have a portrait lens, so specifically for portraits, and that will generally be anywhere from 35mm to about 85mm is generally considered portrait lenses, and a lot of the time they will be a fixed lens, so I use an 85 and that is a fixed lens, so you can't zoom with it. Although like a 50mm is perfect, really. I know most fashion photographers will have a 50mm in their kit. I do have a 50mm. It's not as good a quality as the 85 because that's really my favourite lens, but I still use my 50mm quite often. And it's good to have at least one lens in your kit with an option for a wider aperture. I think mainly because there will be times where, of course, with fashion photography, you're focusing on the clothing. And if you're doing an outdoor shoot and you really don't want the background to become too much of a distraction, the best way to do that is by having a wider aperture that you can shoot with. Say around f2.8 is usually good for that, so that will blur out any of the kind of distracting background elements and really give you that focus that you need on the fashion side of things. So yeah, it's always good just to have one of those lenses in your kit, just something that can shoot at a wider aperture. Now on the other side of the spectrum, it's also good to have something that can fit the model in the shot quite easily. So if you can get something a little bit wider, my 24-70 is perfect for that. It's a really good all-round lens, and you don't have to stand, like say with my 85mm, I have to stand quite far back from the model to get a full body shot. With the 24-70 it's really easily done, so I would recommend a wider lens as well, just something to obviously be able to fit the model in the frame easily. Okay, and if you're getting into like beauty work and studio work and photographing really close up, a macro lens is perfect for that. There's so many different macro lenses out there, so yeah, I would definitely recommend a macro lens. I actually don't have one, but I will consider getting one in the future because the detail that they can pick up, especially with makeup and things like that, is perfect. So I'd always recommend, if you're looking at getting into that side of things, definitely invest in a macro lens because it's going to give you, that better quality that you probably want for your work. So just as a recap, I think it's really good to have obviously a few different lenses in your kit because you're probably not going to be able to use the same lens for every shoot. It just unfortunately doesn't work. So if you're in a studio, if you're in like a very small environment, say if you get like an 85mm lens and it's fixed, it's not going to allow you to move around too much, and you're going to have to need a bit of room to be able to get either full body shots if you need those, or even torso shots. So yeah, it's always good to have something fixed, maybe a fixed portrait lens, something in macro if you're looking at getting into beauty work, and also just a good all-rounder lens that's a little bit wider and that can help kind of get your subjects in the frame easily without, standing 100 meters back from them. So yeah, it's just probably good to have something along those lines in your kit, but as I said, it really depends on your style of photography. I choose my lenses based on my style, and I feel like I haven't gone wrong so far with that. So, and I think a lot of photographers are the same. So yeah, don't be afraid of getting lenses that you don't think might suit your style of photography if you really want to branch out, but just keep it in mind maybe when you are buying. Alright guys, if you've got any specific recommendations for lenses, definitely feel free to put them in the comments section below. It's something that's a little bit hard for me to do because I haven't used, you know, every single lens from every single brand out there, so it's really hard for me to say exactly which lenses you should get because I can't really do that. I can just say sort of what I have and what works for me, and sort of suggest different types of lenses that might be good to have in your kit, and I hope this video did help in that sense. Yeah, so if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below too, and I'll try and get to them as quickly as possible. Thank you so much again for watching guys, and I will see you next time. Bye!